Welcome to Her Opinion Show. I'm Jen.
And I'm Nushin. And we created this show, Her Opinion, because women have lots to say. They have an opinion and they have stories to tell. So let's dish it.
For sure. And today's topic is business branding and PR. And today we have
Marie El Gamal with Pop Studios PR.
And we also have
Mark Slee with Mark Slee & Co. Marketing.
Yeah, so glad you girls are here.
Thanks for
I'm
having us.
spilling the business tips, and
Sure.
that's what it's about. So
Yeah.
a lot of women we have out there, doing their thing. They're entrepreneurs, and whatever they're doing, they have to be on social media at some point. I would think in business, maybe or not, but you're going to give the tips on why it's important for PR and social media.
Yes.
So one of the questions I have for you, Marie, is what should a brand say about a business or a person who's building their brand? What's the key points in that?
Your brand is so much more than just your colors and your logo and your vibe. It's really more about your value and the energy that you want to portray. And that goes along with the types of people, the types of businesses and partners that you bring on. It's everything from the type of content that you put out and the way that you communicate as well. So it should be a reflection of those things, and there's also the certain look and the feel that goes along with it.
Makes sense?
Yeah. Marcy.
Yeah.
Question for you. Hi. So, why do you feel that social media is important for a brand or a business?
I think it's important because you reach people that you never would reach in an everyday setting.
Yeah.
You have direct communication and you can engage with these people one-on-one and by the masses. So you can, if you post something on TikTok, like I have one of my clients reaching 1.2 million followers, you're never getting that kind of engagement on it every day.
For sure.
So
So
it's
not a
just-
billboard, not anything.
No. So I think it's just a different way to reach people by the masses and generate leads.
Sounds good. Marie, back to you. How important is PR for business, your brand? Like say for us, we're just starting out. What would be the steps we would take?
So for you guys, like in that early stage period, it's very important. The most important part I would say would be connecting with different people, fine-tuning your branding, fine-tuning your messaging, having that clarity as to who you are, who you want to be, and that also helps you figure out the types of people that you want to work with or the types of businesses that you want to connect with to broaden your audience. There's a lot of different layers, right, with the marketing and the PR and the social that all kind of cross over. But you can also, as a startup, you can also start with local news channels, local TV shows, local publications. There's all kinds of opportunities, including things like profile pieces that introduce you to the world and to those readers and that audience and start to slowly trickle in. It's always good to start local and form that presence, and it gives you that validity. Then you can grow with that.
So, question, if we wanted to start with PR now, do you create the story for us? Like, how do we have, like, let's say you're gonna put us in a publication or some kind of magazine or something. Do you help us with the story of what we do, who we are?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first thing that I do with any client is essentially we do an onboarding where you're divulging me with all the information, everything about you, what direction you want to go, the types of brands and people that you want to work with. And we look for kind of the strongest angle or the strongest element of your story to work with, and then form that into a pitch or a story to tell. And then we work with that, and we look at different opportunities like those different publications. There's all kinds of hyper-local community publications and different, there's bloggers. Those are also great people to, that's part of PR. It's all about relationships and mutually beneficial relationships. It's more than just getting your name into the media. It's finding those people to build and expand with.
Gotcha.
And that is directly connected with social media. Correct.
That social media is an element of that.
Of that.
You also have the in-person, the networking. I mean, that's part of PR too. Or just always think relationships.
Yeah.
And that's how, for me personally, and just what I've seen with other people, that's how I've always been able to grow, is through relationships and through those connections.
Mm-hmm.
And together we can go further.
Yeah.
the cold calling thing has never worked out well for me.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, but people want to get to know you, and you build that trust that way. And so when you go to different events throughout the city, as exhausting as it may sound at the
Yes.
end of the day, to put that face on and go out and chat with people, that's when I find the most fruitful connections.
For sure.
So that's part of it too, is looking for those opportunities to find and build those relationships, and to continue nourishing those relationships and keep in contact. And hey, this is what I'm doing. And it's not only how can you support me, how can I support you, and how can we cross over together?
Right.
So talking about social media,
Yes.
Marksley, what exactly does social media management consist of?
There's so many different elements to social media management. You could be a social media manager and just post for the company, but the most important thing is like knowing the back end, the algorithms, the trends, what hashtags to use, and finding a niche for that specific client, and knowing how to add target. I mean, there's a lot of different companies that can post for you, right? It's someone that really cares about your company and building your brand and creating a platform that is, I guess, just shows who you are as a company.
Yeah.
Makes sense
Some
because
thoughtfulness and strategy
Yeah,
sure.
behind,
Yes.
behind what kind of content you're putting out there,
Right.
and thinking about the audience that you're trying to communicate with.
Mm-hmm.
and
what
does
your
it match
end
that
goal is.
brand, that business?
Mhm.
Because so a lot of times as a business owner, we don't know where to go, how to
Yeah.
navigate.
Who's our
Yes.
audience and how are we going to reach them?
And you're wearing so many hats with
For
being
sure.
the business owner, the inner workings,
Yeah.
and setting up the table talks and the
Even today.
interviews and all that. And so it's like, it's still an important element of posting on social and reaching
And
those people.
Creating your own podcast.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can vouch for that, and we can say that like we are taking those steps within our own business. It's like helping us with PR, getting Marksley to help us with social media. I do social media, but at the same time, when you do it for yourself, it's stressful. It's a lot of work. You need someone to guide
Definitely,
you.
It can be harder to think of
Yeah.
it for yourself.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
what-
definitely.
Because you overthink it. That's
Yeah.
what we were talking
Yeah,
about. It's like
exactly.
someone else doing it, you're like, okay, that looks good. And you're like, I would have
Yeah.
never put that
And
together.
then when it's for yourself, I feel like it often gets put on the back burner. It constantly falls to the bottom of the priority list
Yes.
because you have your clients
Right.
to take care
For
of.
sure.
So
Yeah.
if you can find somebody on your team that can solely focus on that and get to know you and who you are, or somebody that you outsource like Marksley, then that takes that off of your plate. You have another brain that's working to
Mhm.
help you come up with those ideas and kind of push you into that discomfort, that uncomfortable zone.
Yeah.
And I have somebody on my team that manages social for our clients, and I finally had her start doing it for the agency because otherwise it's a sleeper
Mhm.
zone on IG for me.
Yeah,
Because I'm
exactly.
so busy with other stuff, and you can't think of what you want to put out
You
there.
can be as creative
Yeah.
for yourself.
And you can't push something that you're not doing for yourself. I
Mhm.
think that's
Yes.
that's a big thing. I can't preach something and I don't even
And
do
you're
it.
not even doing it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and then stress it to them, knowing how stressful it is, and they're like, "But you're not even doing it."
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
And then like for me and Jen, we're completely opposite people. The
For sure.
opposite in us just works. Like it really does work. Where
We
I
complement
lack
each other.
exactly where I lack, she compliments me, and where she lacks, I compliment her. But we're different with our fashion. We're different with the things we like.
Yes.
But someone on the other end of that camera helps us to be like, okay, that's perfect. Do this, and y'all are lined up
Yeah.
this way.
It's a different
Makes
view,
sense.
different
Yeah.
perspective.
It is.
Yeah.
Like I'm more think about the business aspect of it. She is more
Mhm.
of the fashion. Let's do this. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
the creative. And
I'm more
and
like I don't care, whatever. Just as long as the back
But I
end,
think
the
where we
business
both-
part is.
I think where we both make sense is money.
For sure. I know. I'm like,
Money on our mind.
I
Yeah.
don't think so. Is there a budget for
Yeah,
that?
and then we're both like, we want to make money.
Right.
For
Well,
sure.
and you have those common goals, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
you each use your strengths to
For
get
sure.
there.
Mhm.
Well, they're a cute duo.
Mhm.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you guys. But it takes a lot for that. It definitely takes a lot for that. It takes a lot to pick this face up and get this hair done, and that's another thing I think as a tip real quick, as a business owner, or even in business, you don't own that business and you're doing the social media or whatever it is, it's not easy. That's the thing. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. It's a whole job, and I think we have to just build ourselves up for it, and
Yeah.
tell ourselves, today's the day I'm going to go out there and just do it
Mhm.
regardless.
And sometimes, a lot of times, done is better than perfect.
That's right.
I could not agree more.
Yeah.
Because the ones that I just posted on my agency, I just started posting, and now I'm getting more followers. I didn't even think about it. I got the most views.
Mhm.
You know, it's
But
just
yeah.
we overthink things, and it's
Yes.
sometimes if you just get it done and put it out there,
Mhm.
like it's the consistency, and then people see you in front of their eyes and ears, and they remember you, and then that's
Yeah.
I feel like for me that's when things start to drum up, is when I'm out there in front of people.
And you practice what you preach.
Yeah, exactly. And then,
You gotta
Like,
walk
five times a
walk.
week.
and then
Walk the
we're
walk.
coming into being organic. I mean, that
Right.
pretty
Yeah.
and that perfect is kind of going out the window because
Yeah.
people are not,
Well,
they're not in
people
that
They're not
facade
buying it
life.
anymore.
Well, they're seeing
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah, they're
You
like,
keep seeing
I saw her the
people-
other day and she did not get out of no
I know.
Range Rover.
Yeah. Right.
Not that video she
She
posted.
does not look that way.
Okay, she was looking a hot mess. But be organic too. Feel free to be organic
Yeah.
and just be like, this is what it is. I mean, I don't want to do this today.
Well,
but
and that builds the trust that people
Exactly.
have in you too,
Yes.
because they see that you're authentic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
back to the script. Marie, I'm back on you, girl. So so we kind of went over this, but can a business hire you for PR right away, or should they wait until the brand, the business is established more?
So that could go either way. You could hire me as a startup brand, and I can do some consulting and kind of and show you the direction that you need to go. But as far as bigger PR goals, it's better to have some presence established. But there's never a bad place to start with working with somebody that does PR.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that means there's hope for us.
Yeah.
100%.
So in that, there's growth, which comes to question for you. How does social media help with business sales leads and SEO?
I think when you build a presence for your company that you're working for, your client, by you build it, like I said before, building that relationship and creating this niche around them, it makes people and then you get by the masses and you reach different people. Eventually, the more they see it, whether that's ad targeting, whether that's posting consistently, the more they see you, the more leads you're going to get, because they're going to click on your profile, go to the website. That's the main point, is just consistency. Keep seeing it, but good quality content.
What's the marketing rule of 7? This is what I tell clients all the time. It takes people an average of 7 times to see something before you act on it.
Mhm.
Think of how many times you've seen an ad on social media and you're like, it's not getting me today. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Then you
4
see
or
the
5
same
months
shirt
later-
and you're like, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I think I really need that phone case that I have
Yeah.
with compliments on all the
I
time.
don't think it takes me 7 when it comes to buying something.
Not all the time. Sometimes I just read it right now.
Yeah.
TikTok shop has got me.
Oh my
It's an
gosh.
impulse buy.
Yes, I'm like, we should start like a hat brand.
Yeah, I think
To
so.
sell on TikTok.
Yeah, we're on our way. Her opinion. Look
Her
out for it.
opinion.
I know. And I know how that is because you try to fight it. Like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then all of a sudden you do give in. So I believe
I
that.
think the key
Yeah.
is move it to cart. Move it to cart, and then
Save
when it's
for
in
later.
the
Because
cart,
then they send you a coupon.
That's true.
they
It's
do.
like, how do we know?
Yes.
You forgot it in
They're
the
like,
cart.
you should put that dress in the cart, send her 15%.
And then I get a text. How'd they get my phone number?
I know.
Yeah,
I think
definitely that is marketing 101.
Yes.
So, okay, I think wrapping it all up, girls. I mean, we've touched the basis on most of that. Anything else, I think, reach out to us. But anything else on that, I would have to say, Marie, one last piece of advice that you could give for maybe someone already in the works with their business and brand or starting out. What would you say to them to help them with their business?
In general, or on the PR?
On the PR side, if
side?
you want to kind
Be specific.
of be specific on it.
On the PR side, I would say stay out there, like stay front and center in front of people's eyes and ears, whether that's online, building your online relationships, or in person. And you've got to do a healthy mix of both. You can't hide behind your phone or your computer all the time, but stay consistent, and do some research too, as far as if you have a dream publication or somewhere that you'd like to see yourself or your business featured. Do some research if you're on the startup, DIY budget. Look and research those writers and see what they're talking about, and start to make yourself a wish list of these are the publications and this is the type of story I'd like to see written about myself, and it sets some goals for you, and then you can create some stories or pitch angles to be able to pitch yourself to those publications. And then I would also say, since we have the topic of branding today, if you are struggling to come up with your brand, consult with somebody, consult with a branding expert. go on Pinterest and look up things and just look and see what inspires you or what speaks to you and start saving things and look for some consistency across that. And then, because that's one of the first things that when you work with a branding person is they're going to want to know about you, about your story, about the types of clients that you want to attract, about the look and feel that resonates with you. And then that's how they start to craft the optical element of your
Right.
brand, right?
And I think with that, I would say that with us kind of going through our business, because you were there with us to see that, is that when we started, we had a different name, a different brand there that didn't really fit. I mean, what we wanted to do was in it, but then we wanted to do so much more and it just didn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
And so consulting with you and talking about something like that, you helped us get into this strategy of
Yeah.
what our brand really was,
Yeah.
what it should be, how it should look. And I think it just made sense.
Yeah.
And you know, without asking and getting a little bit of help there, we wouldn't be where we are today. And look at us now.
Well, and I think it's also
Lights.
important to remember that your brand evolves and you change as a person over the years. Your the way you feel about things changes. You grow, and so it's okay if whatever you start with is not forever, right? And I
Right.
think a lot of people get stuck on
That's
like,
true.
am I going to like this logo forever? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter because you can grow and evolve and change.
That's
I
definitely
think that's
true.
what a lot of
Just
people
start.
are afraid of, that, oh, this may not be permanent. But then you're right, you're gonna evolve.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn, and you're gonna, and that's basically a story of life. Not
Yeah.
everything works out, but then maybe something else comes along, and it just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
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 Well, that sounds like a good stopping point right there.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming and sharing some great business tips. I know I got something out of it. I'm sure our viewers did too. And thanks for tuning in, everyone. Next time we will see you at
Her opinion show.
Bye.
Her opinion.